Chanurmardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mahavedvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Hari Om. Okay, so thank you guys for coming in. And we were talking about chapter number 3, right? We are almost towards the end of chapter number 3, which was, what's the name of chapter 3? Who's gonna say me? Quickly.
Karma.
Anybody from video? Yeah, Sana.
Karma Yoga.
Karma Yoga, yes. So chapter number 3, Karma Yoga, doing all of our actions that we do, day-to-day action, how can we change into the spiritual actions, right? So that's what we are learning. And Krishna Bhagavan said a lot of things in this chapter, which definitely after this chapter finish, we will summarize it. But right now, what we are talking about is all the action that we do, everyday action that are done because of our prakriti, right? What we have, all these 3 gunas that we got from our past lives, that those 3 gunas, what percentage are they in, on depending on that we do our actions. So now when we get to know that why, from where the action arrives. So action arrives from our prakriti, nature, right? So all these actions that we do, whether we need to do any action, it depends on our prakriti, right? And prakriti come from our previous lives or the events that happen in our life, right? So we born with certain prakriti, which is certain percentage of these 3 gunas. And who's going to tell me those 3 gunas are? What are those 3 gunas that prakriti is made up of? Oh, Risha, you want to say?
Tamasic, Sattvic, and Rajasic.
Rajasic, yeah. Thank you, Sana and Sasha. I know you raised your hand too. So all these 3 gunas are make our prakriti, and depending on what percentage of these, what ratio of these 3 we have it, depending on that we do our actions, right? These prakriti came from our previous lives, or tendencies from the previous life, or the events that happen in our life all through this life also. So you will see that we keep changing our prakriti, right? So when we are born, we are a little bit different. When we get some experience in the life, we become a little bit different. When we grow up, we become like a little bit different. So the prakriti keep changing while we are getting the events in this life too, right? Probably you might be thinking something right now that this is my view of thinking, but later on you might change that view, right? It's not gonna stay the same, right? So that's how our prakriti is built, and depending on that we do all our actions, right? So now the question arises, which definitely, who is representing us here in Gita? Arjun, right? The question arises to Arjun, and which would arise to all of us. He asked that question. He said that what makes us do wrong things even though we know that is wrong, right? Even knowingly we do a lot of wrong actions. Why do we do those wrong actions, right? Like, there is some internal force that forces us to do these wrong actions. So what is that that's it forces us to do wrong, even though we know the wrong, it's wrong, right? So just that I know that going and playing at this moment or being on video game at this moment is not right because I have so much homework to do, or I have so much other things to do, or I have to some chores to do, but still I decide to play video games, right? I know that it is wrong at this moment, right? My parents gave me 2 hours, but this is the 3rd hour I'm playing. I know it is wrong, but still I'm gonna continue doing it, right? So now I'm continue doing it. Why? What making me do that thing, right? So Arjuna asked that question, and Krishna Bhagwan, we already discussed last week. Krishna Bhagwan answered. Why was it? Why do you guys remember? Why do we do wrong action? What was the answer of Krishna Bhagwan? What makes us do that? Anybody? Yes, Sia.
Desire.
Desire. Awesome. Desire. And Krishna Bhagwan says 2 things: desire and krodha. Krodha means anger, right? Desire and anger. But we get to know that after next slok, Krishna Bhagwan combines it both together and make it desire. So the root cause is the desire, right? So we talked about that last time. Desire is the problem, our desires. Now, unfulfilled desire gives us anger, and fulfilled desire give us, anybody remember what fulfilled desire give us? Like if the desire is fulfilled, what does it gives us? If your desires, like let's say if you have a desire to keep watching show all day, like for 3-4 hours, what does that fulfilled desire will give you if it is fulfilled? Guys remember? Yes. Sia, you want to answer?
If your desire is fulfilled,
You know what's gonna happen? Like if it is unfulfilled, let's say you want to do something and it's not done, you are not able to do it. If you want to go play outside, but your parents says that this is not the right time to do it, and you are so want to do it. So what happened? Angers come, right? But if it is fulfilled, right? Okay, you got it, you go and play, and now after 1 hour, your parents call you back, your desire is fulfilled, but now you have to come home. So now what happens? What comes? Yes, Karno.
So when your when your desire is fulfilled, then you get limited happiness, because then you have to go back home and then you start to get a little bit more mad.
That's true. Yeah, it's limited happiness comes, but then one more thing comes with it. What is it? Greed. Always the fulfilled desire results to greed. So good job, Karno. Yes, limited happiness will come because desire is fulfilled, right? So you got to play with your friends, but then you want to do more and more. Like I want to, like let's say if your parent says go and play between 3 to 5 with your friends, right? Then you will say, okay, 3 to 5 o'clock, it's very exciting game going on. And then at that time, parents say, come home back. You would say, no, I want to play more, right? So the greed will come. Then next day, you again want to go and say, I want to play 3 to 5 again, then 3 to 6, then 3 to 7. So the desires will you start getting greedy, right? For big people, I would say that when we grow up, then we get, let's say we start getting money, right? So then we get $1,000. Oh wow, good, we got $1,000. Then we will think about how can I make from $1,000 to $2,000, then $2,000 to $5,000. So that greed starts coming in if the desire is fulfilled, right? So that's how it happens. Whenever your desire is fulfilled, it gives a temporary happiness, but then greed comes, right? And when desires is not fulfilled, what happens? We get angry. Now again, it's a cycle, right? When greed comes, more desire comes, then it's chances of not fulfilling will give you anger, fulfilling, again circle around, more desire comes, and then again anger comes. So it's the cycle. It's just keep coming, right? Desire pulls desire, and it keep going on. So that's what Krishna Bhagavan says, that it's desire and anger that makes us do the wrong decision. Even though we know it's wrong, still we go ahead and do it, right? So that's how it is. So do you guys, can somebody share with me any example that, you know, you got the desire, you know that it was wrong, you still did it? Do you remember any of them? Yes, Aisha.
So one day I really wanted to eat ice cream, and it was like really cold outside, and I knew I couldn't, but I snuck one upstairs and I ate it. And a couple of days later, my mom went to my room and she asked me about it because she saw like the wrapper in the trash can, and I had to tell her. So
yeah, I know, but it might have harmed you, right?
Yeah,
you know it would have harmed you, but still you made the decision of going in, right? So again, what was it? It was desire. It gives you temporary happiness. If you would have fallen sick, it would be like, oh my God, you know, you made the wrong decision. I know you didn't see the consequences of that right now, but you made the wrong decision at that time. But what was it pulled you? Your desire pulled you towards that, to make the wrong decision, right? Very good example. Anybody else? Yes, Ansh?
So today, like, I have to finish this book I'm reading. And today at like 1, I said I was gonna read it, but then I got on my phone, and then I kept watching, and then I said I'll read it at 2, but then I kept watching, and then now like then I have to join Gita, so I still haven't read it.
Yeah, right. So now you feel bad about it, right?
Yeah.
Yes, because you know, we make the wrong decision. We know we are making the wrong decision, and later on we regret about it. We are not happy about watching that much. As soon as you left the phone, you felt like, oh my God, I was on phone for 2 hours. What did I do there? Yeah, good example. What, Karnu, what do you have?
So we live next to a park, so I really wanted to go to the park. So then I decided to walk my dog to the park, but then we ended up getting lost, and then I had to face the consequences again.
Yeah, right. That was a wrong decision that you made, right? But what happened? Your desire pushed you to do that, right?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Yeah, good example. Yes, yeah.
So a long time ago I had homework, but over spring break I didn't do it. So then on Sunday I had to do it late night, and then I didn't wake up in the morning.
Right, because you didn't do it on the time, right? You wanted to play more or spend times with your friends more. That's what you made the decision towards, right? And then that's what happened, right? So now what happened is, when you were doing homework at night, the anger was coming, didn't it? Like, oh my God, I have to finish all the homework right now. So the anger is the result of what? Unfulfilled desire, right? You should be doing the finishing of everything, and you did not. Now the consequences was brought. And every time what you see that probably you did not get the consequences right away, you will get it. Remember that. You will get it later, right? So it's going to be always like that. So all people, don't feel it's just you. Everybody, myself, I do wrong things going after the desire, and then it's anger comes or greed comes. It happens to all human beings. So that's why God is saying that what happened is we follow our desire, right? So that's why we make the wrong decision. Now he told us what's the problem, right? He already told us what the problem. Now if we talk about desire, then I would say that the happiest people in the world should be who? What age group should be happiest people in the world? Yes, Karnu.
Babies.
Babies.
I just feel like,
yeah, because they have less desire, right? But their desire are fulfilled. But think about that our grandparents who lived all their life, all the desires has been, I think, most desires have been fulfilled, right? If fulfilling the desire is the happiness, then our grandparents should be most happy people in the world because of their desires have been fulfilled most, right? The baby has 4 or 5 desires fulfilled. The youngsters have some desires that are fulfilled, that are not fulfilled. But if you go and look at your grandparents, they have so many desires. I know some would not have been fulfilled, but most of them have been fulfilled, right? So they should be the happiest people in the world. But sometimes it's not the case, right? It's not that happiness is equal to desire fulfillment. Always remember that in your life. Because if we think that happiness is desire fulfilled, then we are wrong. Look at the example around us. It cannot be that way, right? So that's one thing. And then also I would say that desire is like, you know, when we say when greed comes and more desire comes, desire is like we put oil in the fire. You know what happens when you put oil in the fire? What happens? Yes.
Makes a lot.
Makes a lot of?
It makes a big explosion.
Explosion. More fire comes, right? So desire is like a ghee in that. So if one desire is fulfilled, more desire will keep coming like a ghee in it and make the fire stronger, right? So ask you to make the wrong decision, right? So that's how the desire works. So our biggest thing, our wrong decision making always go on the desire part, right? That's the problem. So Krishna Bhagavan already said that, right? So when, I think, what shlok were we on? Do you guys know which shlok we finished? Which shlok were we on? Okay, while you guys tell me which shlok we are on, I will tell you one more thing. If we, you know, that wise man, what is the desire? You know, the wise man who is enlightened or who has spiritual knowledge, a wise man, desire is enemy to wise man, like they are very sad or having desire. And also the ignorant person, both are, I will tell you what is the difference between ignorant person desire and the person who has the knowledge, who are knowledgeable, who are wise person, what happens with their desire. So what happens is, when the desire is there, the wise person is sad about the desire itself, right? So they are sad twice, wise people. When the desire comes, they know that desire will not give them happiness, and when the desire will come with the next desire. So they are always, even the desire, it doesn't give happiness. For people who are ignorant, what happens is, when desire comes and desire is fulfilled, they get temporary happiness, right? For little happiness, they get it, right? But they do not understand that this little happiness is going to bring bigger sorrow. So that's the difference, how the desires are being taken from a person who is wise person, like who knows spiritual knowledge about not getting into the desire. They are actually twice sad, because when desire comes, they are sad that, oh my God, this desire come and I don't want any desires, right? And also they are sad when the desire is fulfilled, because their next desire is ready to knock your door, right? But the person who is full, what happened? This temporary happiness comes, but they are welcoming next desire. And what happened? The next desire going to bring the bigger sorrow. So it's one after another, the sorrow will keep coming. For knowledgeable person, they are aware that fulfillment of this desire will not give us happiness. So that's where the end comes, right? So there is a difference between that. So if you know something, you will feel like, how about a diabetic person, right? The person knows that they cannot eat sugar, right? If somebody doesn't know that they are diabetic, what's going to happen? They will eat sugar and they are happy while eating sugar. They get the temporary happiness, but what they are doing, they are harming their body by eating sugar. The same person, when they get to know that they are diabetic and they cannot eat sugar, what happens to them? They eat sugar because it's a desire there, but they are sad while eating sugar too. They cannot enjoy that sugar, right? So that's what happened to the wise person. Even the desire comes, they are not happy with that desire when the desire is coming. And the person who doesn't know they are diabetic, what happened? They will eat sweets with happiness, but then what are they doing? They are causing harm to themselves more than anybody else, right? So that's the example about what happened with the happiness, with the desire and the happiness. Okay, then what else I wanted to talk about it? Okay, so then, yes, Sia?
What page are we on in the Gita?
I know, I wanted to ask you guys. I thought you guys have to tell me what shlok are we on. Yeah, Karna.
I think it was 37.
37? Okay. We did 30, we finished 37, right? This is the part of 37 that we are discussing, right? So we're going to start with 38. But one more thing I wanted to tell you. Now somebody will say, okay, Sonal auntie, we understand desires is not good, and this, and you are saying we have to stay away from the desires. But it's very hard, nobody can stay away from desires. Yeah, there will be always the desires. Now, is there any desire that is good? That's what the question arises, right? Is there any kind of desire that is good? There is a good desire and bad desire. So, if you have a desire of, let's say, realizing God or going on the path of God, or you have a desire of helping others, those desires are not counted as a bad desire. Those desires will give you a good, and even the greed comes in those desires, it's good for it. It's good for you and it's good for society. So, I think I previously also I gave this example, right? All the sweets that you eat, if you eat more, it causes acidity, right? It causes acid reflux. You get more acid secreted in your body, and you get acidity when you eat a lot of sweets, right? So, but when you eat that rock candy, the rock candy, the prasad that we give it to God, that's a shakar. What do you say to that? Different people say different thing. Yeah, Nishi, you know what is it called?
Isn't it just like, wait, I don't know.
A square sugar crystal? Yeah.
It's like
Sasha.
white, right?
Yeah. Sasha, you know that?
Remember just mishri?
Mishri, yes. So when you eat mishri, it is used as it is used when you have acid reflux. It diffuses acid, right? So the sugar candy is that rock candy. I think it's said rock candy. So those mishri, when you eat, it is sugar, right? But it does a different effect. What effect it has? It is taken when you have acid reflux. So beside all the sweets cause acid reflux, there is one thing that actually reduces acid reflux, that sugar candy. So all the desire, why? Because it stops so all the desires are like sweets that you eat, and it causes acid reflux. But when you eat mishri, when you have a God desire or a selfless action that you want to do or help others, then that is kind of rock candy. Though it is sweet, but it cuts down all the other desire. It cuts down your acid reflux, right? So that's how it is. It is counted as the desire of doing things for others and doing things for God. So there is definitely a good desire and a bad desire, right? So good desires are not counted as a desire that's going to harm you. Is just two that I say: doing things for others without your selfish intention, and or going towards the path of God, doing anything for God. That's those desires. If you want those desires to go, then they are not counted as a desire that's gonna harm you. Got it? Okay, so that's how it is. Now let's go to next shlok, which is we're gonna read shlok number 38. Got it? Sia, you want to read that?
Okay.
I know, be loud.
Bhumena vriyadvane.
Bhumena vriyate vane.
Yata darsho malena cha.
Yatha darshon malena cha.
Yato dena vrto ka garbas.
Yato blena vrato garvas.
Tata tena dam avratam.
Tatha tene damavritam. Now let's sing together. Dhumena viyate vyahin yatha darsho milena cha yato balena vrato garvas tatha tene damavritam. So here God continues now. We know the problem, right? Now he's trying to explain us further what's the problem, right? We got to know desire is the problem. Now what's the problem? So he says, just as fire is covered by smoke, right? So just as fire is covered by smoke, as mirror is covered by the dust, and as the embryo, little baby, is covered by the womb of mother, the same, so is knowledge is covered by the desire, right? So he gave 3 examples. So what happened is the brightness of fire, right? So when there is a fire somewhere, we see smoke. We don't see fire, but we can see smoke easily. So fire is covered by smoke, right? Then second example he gave is mirror. When we want to see a reflection in the mirror, and if it is covered by dust, right, we cannot see our reflection in the mirror if there is a dust, right? And then the third example he gave, embryo, which is the baby, is covered by the wall of mother's womb. So we cannot see the baby, right? Because it's covered by the wall of womb. The same way, our knowledge is covered by the desires. This is what he is trying to explain us. Now, example is, so the shiny mirror has a dust, right? The fire got a smoke on it, right? Like as the movement of the baby is restricted in the mother's tummy until the baby comes out, right? The same way, the knowledge is covered by the desires. All our desire covers the knowledge. So we don't get the knowledge because it is covered by the desire. Now, if you look at that, he gave such a good example, and if you look at the serial number of the example, it's actually trying to explain us a lot in this. In 3 examples, he's trying to explain us a lot. So what happened is, for different people, as we are made up of different gunas, right? Where desire comes from most, which guna is desire comes from? Anybody can tell me, out of 3 gunas that we have, which guna gives the most desire? Yes, Anne? Rajasic, right? So desire is the production of Rajasic. So some people have more Rajasic, some people have more Tamasic, some people have more Sattvic. It's the different ratio of everything, right? So if somebody has a lot of desire, that comes from Rajasic, right? So what happened is, there are 3 different kind of people too, like these example, right? When a fire is covered by a smoke, the bright fire is covered by the smoke, what happened is, just a gust of wind can remove that smoke and we can see the fire, right? It's very simple. The same way, a person who has little less percentage of Rajasic guna, what happened to that person? Just by going to Gita class or going on talking about it or reading a book about it, get the control on their desires. They just get it, right? They just get it in very easily, like how easily by wind we can take the smoke away and the fire can be seen. That easily the person gets it. Okay, the desires are enemy, desire is the bad thing, I should not do a lot of desires because desire is going to bring other desires and I'm going to keep in this cycle, keep going on. So let me stop it, and I get it, right? So some people will be on this level, which has more Sattvic and less Rajasic, right? Their guna is content of more Sattvic guna. the mirror shine goes, if the dust is there, you have to scrub it away. It doesn't go by doing the, like, just a gust of wind will not take it away, right? You have to scrub it. Yes.
So we have to take the knowledge desire away from knowledge.
You have to take the desire away to get to the knowledge part of it.
Oh.
Right? Because our knowledge of ourselves that we talk about in chapter 2 and everything, what happened? It is covered by desire. So we don't even move forward because we just finish our whole life fulfilling the desires, right? We cannot move onwards to get the knowledge and then get either serve to others or go on the God directions. Like, for liberation, we don't get the liberation easily because we are full of desire, right? We just spend all our life fulfilling our desire, right? But the purpose of human life is not just fulfilling the desire, right? The purpose of human life should be something else, because animals fulfill their desires too, right? What is the difference between an animal and us, right? We should go beyond these desires, right? Our purpose of life as a human being that we got, it's beyond just fulfilling the desire. But what we do, we just keep fulfilling our desire all our life. So we have to do something different, right? So when the mirror example came, the mirror, to remove the dust from the mirror, you have to scrub little harder, right? So some people have little more rajasic, so what happened? You have to scrub little harder, right? For those people, they might have to keep going to get to read lot of scriptures and have follow the classes, learn lot, means scrub the desires away, right? You have to scrub it, right? So some people are like that. Then the third example, embryo and womb. So what happens is baby stays in mother's tummy for 9 months, right? You cannot take it. It's a time, right, when the baby comes out, right? Same way, it takes time for those people, right? It doesn't come out right away that, okay, let me take my desire away and get to the knowledge part of it, right? It doesn't come that way. So for those people, it will take time. But then those people should not give up. They should keep doing what they are doing, keep going to keep studying, keep getting knowledge. So slowly the desire will go away. It will take time, right? So that's what Krishna Bhagavan gave 3 examples by making sure that we understand that for some people it will be easy to do this, to give away their desire and go to the path of selflessness. For some people, you have to scrub it, and for some people, it will take time, right? So these are 3 kind of people that are in the world. We need to understand that part, right? So that's what it is. It says. Now, that's the example. So also the same way, the knowledge is covered by desire. So we have to remove the desire to get to the liberation part of our life. Got it? Okay. Any questions on this, guys? No? Okay, let's move on to slok number 39. See, are you ready, beta?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Avritam nanam etena.
Avritam jnanam etena.
Jnanino nityavarina.
Jnanino nityaverina.
Kama rupena kantya.
Kama rupena konteya.
Duspurena nalena cha.
Dushpurena nalena cha. Very good, Sia. Okay, all together. Avritam jnanametena jnanino nityaverina. Kamarupena konteya dushpurena nalena cha. So here he says, O son of Kunti, right? Konteya, he said, O son of Kunti, knowledge is covered by our constant enemy. Who is he talking about? The constant enemy? The form of desire. So he is just saying that this, I left it more. How would you get the pen from here, if you have any? So he is saying, Kaunteya, what happened is knowledge is covered. Shake it. Knowledge is covered by a constant enemy. So now Krishna Bhagavan is saying desire is our enemy, right? He is not even using a softer word for desire. He's saying desires are our enemy, right? And constant enemy is the form of desire that we have. So what happened is, what is the nature of the desire? The nature of the desire is like a fire. It's it is not permanent, it doesn't give permanent satisfaction, and also what it does, it is difficult to fulfill. So Krishna Bhagavan is saying that its nature is that you cannot satisfy it and it is difficult to fulfill. What we discussed before too, right? It's very difficult to fulfill, and this is a constant enemy. It doesn't go and come back. It's not that, okay, today I don't have any desire, it went away, the enemy went away, and then now it's going to come back, and then, thank you, and it's going to go away and it's going to come back. It's not like that. It's constant with us. Every single minute of our life, this enemy stays with us, right? So it is a constant enemy. This is the biggest thing. It's not like, you know, what is that guy who came back in the Spider-Man, the enemy of Spider-Man guy, the first guy who, Green Goblin? Yeah. So he went away and he came back, right? For some years there was no green. Krishu Bandhu gave it. He has to do this. Okay. Okay, so what happened? Like Spider-Man, Green Goblin came back, right? For some years he was not there. And then he came back, and then Spider-Man has to fight him again. It's not like that. This is constant. It stays with us all through our life, right? We have to, every single day we have to battle with this, right? That's how it is. It's going to be always there. That's what God is saying, that the desire is our constant enemy. And what nature the desire is? It's never fulfilled. It's never fulfilled, right? So that is, or never satisfied, you can say. So desire is never satisfied and never fulfilled. That's its nature, and it's a constant enemy to us, right? Now, it sounds really hard when we talk today, right? That, oh, you know, how we talk about desire so much, and it's very hard to not desire about something, isn't it? You know, we are in the life, and it's very hard to say that, okay, give up all the desires. It will not happen, and it's very hard to do it, right? It's not going to happen. Only few people can do it. The only thing we have to watch is that, are we going towards lot of desire? Is one desire, are we getting to the greed point, right? Because we don't want to become at the point where we being so greedy, or we are being so angry, right? The desires will come. We have to pick what desires we can have, and what that knowledge we should have it. So that knowledge should not cover by desire. But in any case, now what the problem is, we know the problem, right? So the problem is that the desire makes our wrong decisions, right? Desire provide the wrong decisions to us, right? So we got the problem. Now solution part, right? We need to know what is the solution to it. We got it. Now what to do? So next verses, Krishna Bhagavan will explain what can you do to defeat this enemy? That's a constant enemy with us. What should we do to defeat it, right? So that's going to be verse number 42 onwards. We are almost end to this chapter. So last couple shlok, he's going to talk about what is the solution to it, right? So let's read shlok number, is it 40? Yeah, let's read shlok number 40. Okay, you ready, Sia?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Indriyani manobuddhir
Indriyani manobuddhir
asyadhistanam uchyate
asyadhisthanamuchyate
iter vimohayate sa
ite virmohayetyesha Gnanam avratya dehinam. All together. Indriyani manobuddhirs yasyadhisthanamuchyate eter vimohayatsesha gnanam avratya dehinam. Okay, so here now we know that the problem is enemy is desire. Now where is it? Where do we have to go to to defeat this thing, right? We need to know where it is, right? Where it is, how does he look, what does he do, how can we defeat that? So we need some help in this. We just said that there is a desire outside or inside our body and we have to fight it, right? So now what to do? Where is it? So Krishna Bhagavan here is saying that desire abodes in our senses, mind and intellect, and in these desire is covered, and that makes the person deluded, right? So all the confusion comes in because these, where does it live? Where does the desire lives? Desires live at 3 places in our body: senses, mind and intellect. This is where desire lives. We need to know their home, right? So we can defeat it. So this is a constant enemy inside our body. So those are 3 things that live, that's where it lives, right? So he has 3 houses. One is the senses, the second is the mind, and then the third is intellect. So now what happened is senses. Let's start with the senses. First of all, I will tell you, right? So when we say that, okay, stop doing something, right? This is bad thing, you should stop doing it, right? We know, but we cannot stop doing it, right? So Arjun has the same problem, right? He's saying that I know this is wrong, but I cannot stop doing it. Sometimes we said, okay, I need to get a lot of good grades, like I need good grades in all the things, right? So somebody will come and say, you know what, you should study in the morning, it helps you, or you should revise all the chapter when you come back. Answers are out there, what you should be doing, right? If you need a good grade, there are 20 different ways I can explain you how to get good grade, right? Can I not? I can, right? I can explain, or you already know that there are 20 different ways I can get the good grades, right? But what happens is, I cannot follow any one of them, right? You remember we talk about that book, the happiness hypothesis, where he explains there are, there is an elephant and there is a elephant rider. I gave you example, I think in couple classes ago, where elephant rider knows the direction. But what happened if elephant doesn't know anything, but who is the one who is taking you wherever you need to go, taking the elephant rider where he wants to go? It's the elephant who takes it, right? But he doesn't know anything, right? He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't have a map. He doesn't know how to read the map. Who knows how to read the map and who knows where to go? That's the rider, right? So elephant will, let's say if we don't have right elephant, what's going to happen is elephant will go where the bananas are, right? the elephant will move towards banana. Where the banana store is, he's going to go there, right? So what happens is that it's the same way. We know the answer, but we don't get it, right? There are plenty of books in the, if you go in, bookstore, you will see plenty of books to become millionaire, right? There are so many books, how to become millionaire, right? Anybody who can read and become, there will be so many millionaires because so many people read that book, right? But do they become millionaire? No, because that's how, like Warren Buffett says that he read 2 500 pages books every day, right? That was his tip, and that's how he works, right? So he will say, okay, to become millionaire, you read 2 500 pages book. Would you start reading that if you want to be a millionaire? You would not, right? Because even though you know what is the answer to it, you will not, because what happens is there are autonomy on other parts of our body. It's not just mind who is thinking or intellect who is making the decision. There are other parts that makes the decision too. There is a gut feeling, right? The gut has the brain too, right? People say the gut has the brain too. The same thing, that there is autonomy to all other organs of our body too, right? So that's how it works out in there. So when we discuss, so there is the body, and then mind and intellect. All these three places, that's where they live. So when we have to make a decision, what happens? Senses will see, hear, taste, touch, or any, senses will do that, smell, and then this is the thing that is from outside world. The object comes in contact of senses. Senses send our messages to the mind. Mind creates the thought, and the thought will go to the intellect, and then intellect will make the decision, right? We decide on that. Where you have to react is you have to react on the mind, right? Thought. You remember a couple of classes ago, we have to say, wherever we have to stop at the thought level, right? So this is all three places where the desires live. They don't just live at one place. They live at senses, they live at mind, and they live at intellect. So now when we look at it, right? So let me see if I miss anything on this. So what happened here? Senses pushes the desire, right? It pushes this desire. Mind lose control, and then intellect just get deluded and just give it away. So what happens is, if you cannot fight, what you do? You cannot fight, you join them, right? That's the, if you cannot fight something, what do? You join them. So intellect joins and get deluded. So push start from here, this lose the control, and this intellect joins it, right? So that's how it works, and that's how it makes the decision on that. Now what happens is, now Krishna Bhagavan gave us where it stays. Now what do we have to do? That's what we need to decide, right? How should we change, and what should we do with this? Now we get to know where they are. Now what is the power they have? Krishna, get up and go lay down. I'm coming. Go lay down. Okay, so now let's go to the next slok. So in this slok, first God already said what is the problem, right? He gave us the problem. He says this is the problem. Now he says where does it live? It lives in these three places. Now what should we do for that, right? So let's talk about that. So let's go to the slok number 41. Okay. So I know that, I think Swara, did I ask you to read from 41? Can you read it? Okay. So we're going to go to slok number 41. Tasmat tvamendriyanado Nyaya Bharta Sharva Papmanam Prajahiyenam Gnana Vijnana Nashanam. Okay, we'll sing all together. Nishi and Risha, you can sing together, bacha? Okay, let's sing. Tasmat tvam indriyanyado niyamya bhartarshabha papmanam prajahihenam gnana vijnana nashanam. So he says, O prince, first control the senses. Give up the senses, and then what happens is that because of that it destroys the knowledge and realization. So what you have to do is you go from outside to inside. What is outside to inside? The most outside thing is senses, right? Outside thing of our body is, the gross body is, this one is the outside, right? So we go outside to inside, more subtle and more subtler, right? So it goes from outside to inside. So we go senses, which is outside with the object, then that's where we have to start. That's where we need to control, and then go to next level and go to the next level. So he gives us a level how we should be doing, right? So first come control of senses, then we come to the mind, and then we come to the intellect. That's how it's gonna go, right? So one after another, that's what God is saying to do. Now what happened, we have to, anybody have learned about Lakshman Rekha? Anybody knows what Lakshman Rekha means? Anybody who saw Ramayana would know Lakshman Rekha. Anybody know that? Okay. Lakshman Rekha was, Rekha means line, right? And Lakshman, you know Ram Lakshman, right? So Lakshman Rekha is the line drawn by Lakshman. Now when did he draw a line? Anybody remember? Yes. Nishi and Risha. I know a lot of hands stood up, but I want to know.
Whenever
He wanted to protect Sita.
No, hold on, wait. No, it was whenever Sita thought that Ram was in trouble, so then she sent Lakshman, but he didn't want to leave her, so alone, unprotected. So he drew the line. So
To protect Sita. It's exactly the same.
Yeah, you both are saying the right thing. So yeah, to protect Sita, right? That's what you were saying, Neil?
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
Same thing. Okay, yeah, that is Lakshman Rekha, right? It is known as that Lakshman Rekha is a symbol now, right? We talk about Lakshman Rekha means a line that after that you should not go beyond that line, right? You are not protected beyond that line. So what here, the example of how to control senses, that you have to create a Lakshman Rekha around you, when you need to make sure that what objects you are coming in contact should have a limit. Lakshman Rekha is kind of setting a limit to yourself, right? So you are drawing Lakshman Rekha. Lakshman Rekha is always symbol of making sure that you don't go beyond that. So he did not want Sita to go beyond that, because he made a line to protect Sita, that anybody cannot come inside. He made a invisible wall that anybody cannot come and hurt Sita, or any animal or any human cannot cross that line, right? That's why Ravan, if you look at in the Ramayana show, what does it? He put his step in, and there is a current that comes, so he couldn't go in, and that's why he forces Sita to come out of that line, right? So what happens in this, when we control the senses, what we have to do is we have to draw Lakshman Rekha means Lakshman. What Lakshman draw around Sita, you have to draw around yourself and then go for it. So first of all, we're gonna talk about senses, right? But it's a longer discussion. We will take one at a time and then talk about what we need to do here, what we need to do here, and what we need to do here. Before I explain you, I want you guys to, next time when you come to the class, remember what we learned about the chariot, like how we symbolize the chariot and what we talk about. I think it was first or second class we talk about what symbolizes all the members of the chariot, and how did we talk about how to control them, because that's how same thing is going to come. You remember there were senses, mind, intellect, and self, right? So that's all going to come for next time. So just be prepared what we talk. So it's going to be like we can talk and discuss, and then we can learn about how to control this, because now we are concluding the whole karma yoga, right? So when we conclude it, we need to make sure we know the answer to everything, what kind of action we should be taking. It's not just we read it, now we are back to our normal life. No, we need to take these action in our life. So how should we do it? So we should know about it, right? So but for right now, we're gonna leave at shlok number 41, and we only have 2 more shloks after this, 42 and 43, and we're gonna summarize chapter 3 for the next class, and we will finish chapter 3 in the next class. So then probably we're gonna take a test or something, or we're gonna play if we can, or we will take the text in following class, right? Good. Yes, Sia.
Instead of the test, can we do Jeopardy?
Yeah, I would love to do Jeopardy. I need to figure out how we're gonna play online. You guys, yeah, we will do something, okay, fun, because we need to, like chapter 3 was a long chapter. We took so many days. I want you to get the whole cycle together, because this is closest to us, right? We can do karma yoga easily. All the other things that we're going to study will be a little harder, and it's going to be like next step. But first we have to start from here. So you guys have to understand this very well before we move on to chapter 4, right? So we're going to do some kind of revision or compiling it all together, so that you guys get to know everything that we study in chapter 3. Good? Okay, but we have one more class before we do that, right? So we have one more class. We have 3 more shloks to go, and then we will go ahead and summarize it. Okay? Let's close it. Vasudeva sutam devam Kamsachanurmardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadguru Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Para Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Krishna Arpanamastu. Okay guys, thank you for coming.